You're live.
Like all this damage to the transmission, we're never going to open this transmission up. It's pretty much junk. So, but we'll look into it after we get the engine off and see what damage it did to the rest.
So you suspect the cause to be those bearings, the roller bearings?
Yes, I think that those there should be a roller bearing, a big rollers. You can see it in here. It should be identical rollers to that inside here, but the rollers have all gone. There's not a roller left. I mean, the hole's empty.
Okay.
So that's not good. Okay, oil pump. Well, you can see the back of it. See all those, looks like a record?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not good. See the water that was in here, that's not good. Yeah, this is none of this is in very good condition. Again, fortunately, I'm going to replace all this anyway. New oil pump, cam. You can look at this and you can see this thing has passed a lot of bad metal. It should be smooth all the way around. And the pitting that you see in there, that's acceptable. That's just the process. I'm sure this is centered, but all these marks here, that should be smooth as well. On the outside, there, underneath, all that should be smooth. And you can see it's got spun with metal in there. Good job. I got another pump anyway, and it comes complete with the case and everything on it, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay. Usually these are pretty smooth, and you can see this one's got, I can feel real, just like an old record.
Scoring, yeah.
Okay, well the only thing really left to do is to take and pull the bolts along here along the back, which is like 5 or 6 of them, and then split the engine and the transmission. Let's take this apart here. This is the primary gear. So let me take this off or not. Let's see. This is the front thrust washer. This is the horseshoe clip that holds it in. The horseshoe clip fits in those 2 slots right there. Primary gear itself. Well, this one is all chewed up. I'd never ever use this. All these teeth right around the outer edge are chewed up. Works out in the clutch. Doesn't look bad. The bushings don't look bad. This is the thrust washer. This is selectable. So you can adjust the inflow of that gear. The only time this spins on these bushings is when you hold your foot down on the clutch. All the rest of the time, when your clutch pedal's out and the motor's turning, this spins.
Okay.
The clutch is locked this part to this part, because the disc rides on here, and this will sit here spinning. It'll also spin this gear here, and this gear right here, and this gear basically goes into the transmission and spins parts, but it won't turn anything, cause the car to move until you select the gear. And that's why you push down the clutch, it allows this to stop moving. You can move the gear lever, put it in the gear without the gears grinding, and then when you let it out, this thing starts spinning, it turns everything, and it should drive you down the road. So let's pull these last bolts out here, and let's see here. That long screwdriver, because my hands under it now.
Watch your oil. Actually, it's water. It looks like
That's sure is, isn't it? Where's that? I think it's water and oil. So that's why I brought the drip pan over. Let me kind of unbolt this from the other end, and we can put it on the drip pan. And it's only 5 bolts left, and they're all loose. These bolts right under here.
Now these bolts just basically hold the differential?
No, these bolts here hold the block to the transmission.
Okay.
Now the differential would be held in by these bolts around here. This splits this way, and the differential, which is right here, you can see that spins all right.
Now is the differential something you can salvage?
It is, but the problem is the differential on these wears real quick, and I haven't found one yet that came out of a car that I would put in another car.
Oh, really?
I mean, there's a few, yeah. I mean, gosh, they wear in the middle of the differential where there's some thrust washers, and the thrust washers wear into the body of the differential. And when that happens, when you go to put new ones in, they're too loose. And there's no way to easily machine it.
Now, are they bathed in oil when they're in operation?
Yes, everything from about probably here on down is oil. The entire transmission is bathed in oil.
And it's still wearing like that?
And it still wears. Takes a lot of abuse, particularly on the bigger bore engines. They've tried different things. On my car, they have what they call a cross pin diff, which has 4 pins in it instead of just 2, and that's supposed to be better, but we'll see. 3 more of these, and actually I might split it here because it'd just be, pull the engine off here. And then worry about the transmission moving it on the direct pan afterwards. Okay. 2 more nuts and we're done. And these are definitely 7/16. These cars weren't put together with robots. Somebody actually sat and screwed these together like this because there's no way to get a tool up in there that I can see.
Yeah.
But the minis were made to be assembled by unskilled labor, hence the external seams and things like that. All the rest of the engine to transmission fasteners were all bolts. These are the only two that are studs. No idea why. Maybe they thought it was going to be too hard to get a bolt up in there. I don't really know. And should be one more rock washer on here. Maybe it fell. I didn't see it, but I don't see one there. Okay. In theory, I should be able to go like that. That breaks the seal of the engine to the gearbox.
I think it'll work.
And the only thing holding it up are together in line. There's a round dowel here, and there's another one right under here, and then there's the two studs right there and there. And I'm going to take a screwdriver there, hold this one there. Okay, there's the other dowel, and there's a dowel. So I can put these in here like that, and I can stand up now, maybe, and lift the block off of the transmission. And this will save having to mess around with this oil gear, the water and oil mixture of the gearbox.
Okay. You gonna do that by yourself? Or you wanna?
I'm gonna try.
Okay.
Where am I gonna put it? Right there. Right there. Used to go around it. Get another screwdriver. All the bolts are gone.
Okay.
I think it's stuck on the dowels. That one's just heavy.
Amen.
Ah, here.
We'll stop you. When? You're live.
Okay. Today, this is really the only part of that whole power assembly that I'm going to be using. Just the block, crank, the rods. I'll be getting new pistons and having it bored up to probably, I'm hoping this is a standard, and I'll go to 20 over. But we have to take and remove the crust around the number 2 where the spark plug had been left off and rainwater had gotten in. I can't get this piston out easily. I'll be using my hone to clean the inside of the bore to where I can get the number 2 piston out. The other should just slide right out, but I'll probably hone them just a little bit to get the ridge off the top. We'll be pulling the crank out here in a minute. Pull the camshaft, runs through here. This is the oil pump end. Pull out all 8 lifters. I won't bother keeping them in order because they'll never be used again. Probably the cam will end up being thrown out. It looks to be actually a very good cam, but usually when we build a motor, we put a mini spares cam or a Swift Tune cam or one of the performance cams in it. And this one, I'm sure this is just a stock one. Front engine plate will come off, and that's pretty much it. I'll be able to pull the crankshaft out, and then, like I say, pull out the rods with the pistons. So let me go ahead and get this cam out first. Tell on my thrust plate on the front and 3 bolts. I loosen them up, but I didn't take them off. Not much to see. I'm taking the last one out right here. Okay. This plate has a metal side and a thrust side, and I'm just going to check to see which one they put in. But this is the outside. I'm going to mark this just so that I know this is on the outside. I know this little hole goes to the bottom. Well, not really to the bottom because it can't. So it must. That's the outside. Know that. Okay. Put the front plate off. Broke it free earlier. That's it. Cam itself. Careful with it so I don't knock any of the bearings. I've got tools to replace the camshaft bearings, but I'll have to look at them to see what they look like. Just going to go down and look at one lobe after the other and see. So far, this looks to be a pretty good cam.
And John, you think that's an original cam?
I do. Normally they'll be marked on the back or the front if they're a aftermarket cam, and there's no markings at all, so they'll stamp or write something here. I've seen some of them are marked or stamped right on this lip here, and I don't see anything there. Got 3 grooves on it, 3 ridges right there. That means something. If you look in Vizard's book, you would see what this is, but I'm sure this is just a stock SPI cam. MPI cam won't have the drive gear here. Okay. But I can look down and I can see the lifters, and I see at least 4 or 5 of them have serious damage from wear. So you're not going to use the cams anyway, or the lifters rather again. If I was going to rebuild this and wanted it stock, I could put that cam back in and reuse it, but I'd have to put new lifters because these lifters are in very bad condition here. And any time you take a lifter out, it's false economy to put the lifter back in. Always use new lifters. And if you've taken a cam out before and put 50 miles on it, they tell you new lifters. If for some reason you're going to take it apart, new lifters. They're not that expensive. Something you want to do.
Just because of the wear pattern that is created?
Wear pattern.
Okay.
And you for sure can't put it between different cars different engines because they're just slightly off center one to the other. Just a few thou is enough. And the pattern worn into the lifter will not match, and it will cause the lifter in particular to wear away. And once I get these out, you'll be able to, I'll show you on the camera. The face of the lifter should be flat, and it looks flat, but actually it's domed. but it has a, should be smooth. And the object of this is when this rolls around, it should cause the lifter to turn so that each time it wipes over the lifter, it rotates slightly so it gets a fresh wear area. So in theory, it extends the life of the lifter, and the cam too for that matter.
Okay.
But these, and minis in general, lifters I don't think last all that long. But let's go ahead and pull the crank out.
Now, when you say not long, are you talking about 50,000 miles or?
You know, gosh, I would say, yeah, probably 50,000 miles. That'd be a good time. I don't know if they're any better now than they used to be, but I don't think I've ever taken the engine apart where the lifters weren't bad. Let me get a magnet and I'll pull those out.
Okay.
There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay. I don't know if you can see it on there or not with the reflection, but that should be perfectly smooth. And the metal, it should be have a smooth metal surface all over it. This face here, but you can see it's pitted. All over it's pitted. And that's a bad sign. Again, the cam lobe looks good. So you could reuse that cam, but you definitely have to put new lifters in. Let me go ahead and pull the rest of these out while I'm this far. A couple more that are even worse. And on the 1275 motor, the non-Cooper S1275 motors, the only way to change the lifters is by what I'm doing here, pulling the cam out with the engine upside down. And if you look on that one, this one is even worse than the other one as far as the pitting. You can see it there, but it's pretty bad. But it's not unusual. That's kind of how they wear. Too bad. As again, I'm not marking these because they're never going to be used again. Here's another one that's pitted, probably the worst one, the depth of the pit. It's pretty bad shape. Only one of the last three that has severe pitting on it. This one's not too bad. I got to tap them from the other side. They're just kind of stuck in the lifter hole. Yeah. No, I'll get them later. But next we're going to undo all the rods. I've marked them already. I used my center punch. And I just put a little tiny mark on each of the caps and on the adjacent part of the block, just so that I know which one went where.
Okay.
Factory, I don't think marks these at all, but if they do, they don't do a very good job. They're just kind of tight.
Now, John, if somebody was not to mark those when they took them off, what would be the most expedient way to handle that situation? Just buy new ones, or?
No. The rods are offset, and they can only fit one way. But, and I think the pistons, I think most of these pistons will go either way. We can look at this rod cap here. Doesn't look very nice. It's pretty smooth as far as running your finger across it. Normally they're this gray, light gray color all the way across. This has had some trash go through the motor due to the gear breaking, but that's not, it's discolored, but it's not rough.
So you could reuse that without any problem?
No, lifters and bearings are the same. If you're going to go this far, you always put new bearings in. Unless the bearings, if they're virtually new and only have like 1,000 miles on them, and you take them out and they look brand new,
right,
I would reuse the bearings. That's not a real serious problem. The lifters you can't because of the pattern of the cam, but the lifter, or the bearings rather, are a little more forgiving.
Okay.
Okay, that's more what I would have expected the first one to look like, and it's pretty smooth. Not a lot of wear in it. I'd be happy with it. If I pulled my motor apart and they all look like that one, I'd be pretty happy.
Okay.
Okay, now, I think actually, right now I'm going to take and hone the cylinders, just to be able to get the pistons out easier. Number 2 is the bad one. Put that in there. These are top dead center, so that's as far down as it can go. And I'm going to just try to use that to get off as much of that rust that's in there. Again, I'm going to actually have these bored out. I can still feel a lot of rust right in this area. Just one more time. Set the spring tension a little tighter. Above the top ring. Also, at the very top, the top ring, as far up as it goes, sometimes we'll feel a ridge. I feel a very slight ridge right there. I was going to reuse these pistons. I could live with that. It's not very bad. But I felt on other cars, I'm going to get all this wicked ring with it, so the ridge is so big and sharp.
John, you're just trying to push the piston up? Is that what
I
you're
am,
doing?
yes. But it's fighting.
Still more corrosion in there?
Yes, but it's going by it, but it's going to take a bit of doing. Let me get the other one out. I have a block of wood, I can't find it. So.
There it comes.
Doesn't look horrible. The bearing. Well, this bearing looks similar to the other one. It doesn't have there's no ridges across it. I don't know why it's discolored, but I'm hoping it leaves the journal in good shape, so all I have to do is polish it. But the bearing surface feels nice.
Okay.
Coming up.
I think the block is moving more than the piston.
That's coming. See something, a little bit of wood to knock on that with. Come over to this one right there.